It's time for another split screen challenge, and last time we did healthy versus unhealthy, and at the end of the episode we asked you what you would like to see next, and you overwhelmingly asked for cheap versus expensive.
So we're gonna be flipping a coin to see who gets cheap and who gets expensive. You ready?
I'm gonna go tails.
It is tails.
I win again!
Wow.
But since last time Brandon was unhealthy, I think I'll be cheap.
So that means I'm expensive. I'm excited, but I'm also sad. I'm sad for my bank account, but I'm excited because the food might be a little bit better than
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
see, quality. Here we go. Wish us luck.
Just made it to Swole Foods, and we're gonna be seeing what's on the menu today. Get the most expensive food. I'm pretty excited, because I have a feeling this food's gonna be mighty tasty. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with the big bag of boneless, skinless chicken breasts. It's cheap, it's gonna last me all week long. This is bringing back a lot of memories. I've had thousands of these things over the years. My first experience with turkey bacon, it's like they had a big cardboard of meat and they just cut out little strips.
Ooh, found some delicious bread. This looks really good, and it's the most expensive one we could find. We gotta have some nice spread on that one. We're gonna go for some raw almond butter.
The king of beers, although that might be up for debate. Nonetheless, it's cheap, it's big, and there's 6 of them, so there's plenty for me to partake in.
One beer. This better be worth it. It sounds good. It's really interesting actually because I'm so used to going to a store and trying to find the cheapest foods. Now doing the exact opposite, I feel a little lost. It's a new experience for me, for sure.
One of the sad ironies about trying to find the cheapest food possible to buy was that back in the day, I would put all of our groceries on a credit card, and it took me a long time to pay it off. So with the accumulated interest over the years, I probably paid more than the most expensive versions of these foods would have cost. In fact, me and Brandon would laugh about it because every once in a while he would ask me, hey, have you paid off our grocery credit card yet? And I was like, no. And it wasn't until about 3 or 4 years later that I finally did. So that 70-cent can of tuna I bought probably ended up being about $70. They still have it. This stuff is legendary. We would just chug this down by the tub. The excitement is in the air. We actually used to get this, but for my own stomach's sake, I think I'm gonna get a smaller one because I have a lot of memories of this and they're not all good.
Goat's milk. I've actually never had goat's milk before. But you know, there's a first time for everything, and it's the most expensive thing here, so we're going for it. Whoa, Swole Foods makes for broke dudes. That was a lot, but got some really good food, and I'm looking forward to cooking it up and eating it.
The grocery shopping is finished. I'm going home, and I gotta be honest, the food came out to be a little bit more money than I thought it would be. And it's kind of funny because a few months ago I made a video called I Survived with $20 for 1 week of healthy food. I was able to buy even better foods for less money. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions about eating healthy is the stereotype is that you have to spend a lot of money to eat healthy. And that's simply not true. You just gotta learn what to do, and you really can't go wrong with whole healthy foods. Today I've kind of bought a variety, and again, I'm really basing this off of my old school diet that I ate in my early 20s, and there's a few items that kind of bump those prices up a little bit. The protein, the beer, but you gotta have something besides just the basics sometimes, and that's exactly what I did. So I'm gonna take my food home, and we're gonna check out the haul. Turkey bacon and egg whites. Very simple, but effective. And I could have thrown some oats in there. They're very cost effective. They go a long ways. They provide some great complex carbs. But since I'm basing this on our old diet, I went ahead and did exactly what we used to do, because it was kind of funny back in the day. What me and Brandon would plan our day around would be the workout. So we'd have very low carbs, and then right before working out, we would have most of our complex carbs, and immediately following the workout, we would have our simple sugars. So it felt like just this massive blast of carbohydrates right around the workout. We felt more pumped than ever, and I'm kind of excited to try that out again because it's been quite a while. So as you may have noticed, my breakfast was very low on carbohydrates and fats, and I'm gonna be saving all of that good stuff for my next meal. And although this breakfast was simple, I feel pretty satiated. It wasn't too bad.
Going with the classic breakfast, and that's gonna be eggs, turkey bacon with some toast and peanut butter. In this case, it's actually almond butter. And this sucker costs over $20. So it goes to show you that it's probably not too realistic to buy these type of foods all the time. But overall, I don't think it's much different than a typical breakfast I would usually go for that wouldn't cost this much for sure. I mean, the bread's good, the almond butter tastes great, tastes very natural, but yeah, it's not super impressive. So I think this first meal, breakfast, you know, you could definitely do a lot better. And you could be a little bit more crafty in how you spend your money too, and getting good foods, but not having to pay the top price for them.
Tuna Melt. This is a meal that I have had so many times. In fact, the last time I had it, it's been a few years ago, I would say maybe 6 or 7. I thought I was gonna throw up, and that's only because I think when you've had something so many times, your body just gets sick of it. So I'm a little scared eating this now, but it's part of the video, so I gotta do it. Wish me luck. I think this is about number 3001 of the tuna melts that I've put into my body. The imitation cheese really just kind of sticks to the roof of your mouth and it doesn't want to let go. I'm assuming it probably sticks to your insides as it goes further down. Hopefully it just doesn't stick so much on the way down that I run into problems. It tastes like tuna flavored cardboard with a little bit of orange glue on top.
With the canned tuna, we would usually get these like hoagie things with some fake cheese. But since we're going the expensive way, or at least I am, I got some nice high-grade, freshly baked bread and some black truffle cheese. Eating like this might be hard on your bank account, but after tasting all these flavors, you really start to appreciate buying high-quality foods. I mean, a simple meal like this, it's tuna, it's bread, it's cheese, but the quality of what it is, freshly baked bread, wild-caught tuna, and very high-priced black truffle cheese, it can really make a meal. This is absolutely delicious.
And with this cheese, you gotta act fast because it melted, but now it's beginning to harden and yeah. Taking on a little bit of a rubber consistency, so I have to get this thing in my stomach before. I don't know if I want this in my stomach, all right?
This tuna is like melts in your mouth. It's crazy.
Well, it's inside of me, and I hope I can get it out. It's time to put that tuna melt to good use. I'm gonna be getting in an arm workout, biceps, triceps, a little bit of forearms, all about the pump. And with every rep, I'm asking for forgiveness to the God of gains. Please help me to forget about that hoagie I just had. It's a little hard to forget though when it feels like it's stuck to every part of your insides. The workout's finished, and now it's time for the moment of truth. I consumed a lot of it when I was doing construction, specifically drywall, and for those of you who have done the same, pieces of sheetrock in the middle, there's kind of a chalky sandpaperish texture, and sometimes I question whether that's what they ground up and put in this thing. That should do it. Let's give it a shot. Gotta say, the consistency is much better. The flavor is pretty close to what I remember though. It's chocolatey. It's unique, and it brings back a lot of memories. Dinner is here, and I gotta say, this is one I'm not really looking forward to. As you can tell, it's very plain. It's just chicken breast and canned spinach, and I have no idea how this worked, but as a kid, I didn't even know fresh spinach existed. Probably because I watched too much Popeye, I thought the only way you could get it was the slimy canned seaweed version. And I made the huge mistake, as I think a lot of people do, where you thought you had to punish yourself if you were to eat healthy. So I would down the chicken, down the slimy spinach, not really enjoy it, but think to myself, this is the only way to get in shape or be healthy. And that simply isn't true. That's something that I've learned over the years. You can add a lot of seasonings, you can vary up your meals, you can still stay or get in great shape, and you don't have to suffer through the process. But today, I'm suffering.
This really does taste like an expensive salad from a high-end restaurant. I am very happy with how this meal turned out. It is another kind of simple meal, probably took the equivalent of about 30 minutes total to prep and cook the food. Chicken turned out great, the salad's crisp, it's nice, and it is very delicious. I think that's the theme for my whole segment, is all this food's really delicious. You pay a little bit more and, well, you get what you pay for.
Cheap diet versus expensive diet is over. Verdict?
My wallet is a little lighter, but my stomach is full. It was mighty tasty, but I feel like you don't have to spend that much money on food. You want to get high quality, but there's ways around spending an arm and a leg for sure.
I would say that what I learned is for some things you can go cheap, and for some things you probably want to spend a little bit more. As I said earlier in the video, as the years have progressed, I've gotten a little wiser. I found that you can still get a lot of great food for less money, but for certain things, maybe like greens, maybe like meats, you want to make sure and get quality, even if you got to spend a little bit more.
Or like that cheese.
The cheese is going to be part of me. Yeah. The cheese entered my body.
Part of your DNA.
It really is, yeah. I am a little cheesier than I used to be. We had a lot of fun with this one, and let us know what split screen challenge you'd like us to do next time.
And as always, stay blessed.